Great. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this remote viewing class. We're doing it on May 15th, 2021. My name is Elizabeth McQuade, and I volunteer for Prepare for Change. And one of the things I thought I'd do is, I'd done this class earlier just at the beginning of the whole coronavirus thing, because I thought it was important to get people's intuitive abilities going. So I made 2 workshops online for people because, I think we all know the situation on the planet, and it's important to be able to ascertain the truth for ourselves. So that's why I'm doing this recording, and I wanted to do it again as well, because I think people are interested in this a lot. There is a lot of growing interest in remote viewing, and I do feel it's one of our kind of natural birthrights. And we don't get taught it in school, and it is a natural thing for us to psychically look at things, but then we're not encouraged to do it. So then it can kind of atrophy. So this is, this workshop's for people who have never tried remote viewing and want to give it a go. And it's also for people who have tried remote viewing and maybe want to try a couple different techniques or get some practice. At the end, we can even ask, I'll kind of see if anyone else is doing any courses that they enjoy that they want to share about or are involved in the associations. So if you're involved in that, maybe keep it in the back of your mind, and we'll add it at the end so people can kind of research that, because it's all about sharing today too. Great. So I'm just going to keeping an eye to see if there's any new attendees, but I think we're probably pretty good. So what we're going to start off with, I'll just do a quick little thing. So I had a chance when I lived in Auckland, New Zealand. I went to a conference and Dr. Russell Targ was there. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I thought, I'm so glad I went to his workshop. And he basically covered all these techniques, about 3, and we'll cover 3 of those today. He shared with us. And so he's one of the first kind of people in the public domain that worked with in military for remote viewing. And there's a couple things, he's got a bit of a background in it. But to be brief, he's one of the forefathers of it. He's got several books out. So if you don't know who Dr. Russell Targ is, you should look him up and maybe check out some of his writings. And he's such a lovely guy. He's got such a lovely personality. And so I really enjoyed the workshop, and I was quite amazed by it. Because I've done healing work or looking at things remotely for people, like for health wise or in their body, but I'd never really thought about doing it for objects or different reasons. So it was really quite a nice workshop, and we're going to cover a couple of those things. But one of the first things I find is really good to do is about we're going to set a little intent and do I don't know, some people here might be spiritual, some people might not be. We're going to do some sort of little intent / prayer just to get us in the mood, and to also set the tone for how we're going to move forward. So, well, if you can just take yourself and get yourself a little bit comfortable, whether you're sitting, if you're lying down, you might fall asleep. So you might want to sit up. That's up to you. And what I'll get you to do is, if you like to, you can close your eyes. And we're going to really connect with our body for a few breaths. And our body is our point of power. Even though we're going to be doing stuff where it might seem like we're going out of our body and looking at stuff today, really where our point of power is here right now. There's like 8 billion people on the planet. So there's got to be something about being in the body that everybody wants. So we want to focus on the body as well. So taking a couple of deep breaths. If you like to connect with source or the earth or both of those, or you just want to connect with your higher self, whatever your beliefs are, and ask for an intent today that we enjoy what we're doing today, we grow and learn from it, and that whatever happens during this workshop, before, during, and after, is for our highest good and the highest good of all involved. And we're looking to expand our awareness, expand our abilities, expand the function of our remote viewing, and connect in a beautiful, loving, supportive, and fun way. And so what I'll get you to do is just, when you're taking the next couple of breaths, gently draw your awareness to the top of your head and the sides of your head and the back of your head. And also gently draw your awareness to your face, your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, the muscles around and behind your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, your ears, your lips, teeth, and tongue, your chin, and your jaw and the muscles of your jaw. And also gently draw your awareness to your neck, the front, sides, and back of your neck. And breathe into all those spaces. And release any tension from those spots. On the next few breaths, gently draw your awareness to your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, hands, and fingers. And also gently draw your awareness to your upper back, your lower, middle, and lower back, and to your chest, abdomen, and pelvis. And breathe into all those spaces. And release any tension from those spots. And feel that laser-like focus you have inside you. And know that it's something you can use for your benefit, for the benefit for all, and that you have a God-given right to use it. And also gently draw your awareness to your hips, your buttocks, your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, your ankles, heels, feet, and toes. And breathe into all those spaces. And release any tension from those spots. So we covered this just in the pre-call, but I just want to cover it briefly for anyone else who just joined before I mentioned it. But there's a lot of lovely people training a lot of people or doing their own training out there in the world. And there's a lady in Britain, I believe, and she's training children to see with blindfolds on and having wonderful success with it. And you can Google that on YouTube. Or if you don't know it, let me know and I'll email it to you. But there is also adults doing that too. There's a lovely couple who are training themselves to look at things with blindfolds on. So that is one kind of way of remote viewing. And how can you do that? One of the things we mentioned just before I started recording is that it's easier for kids in some ways because they're using their imagination and they're not so focused on what's real and what's not real. So what I encourage you to do today is release what you think is possible for the human being to do. If you don't already feel quite expanded in that, or even expand that a bit further, say you might know what you can do psychically or remote viewing or intuitively, but even expand that further, say, I'm ready to expand it even further to know what I can do even more than what I'm aware of today. So that would be the first thing. And secondly, when we're doing stuff today from a scientific standpoint, our left brain's quite logical, our right brain's quite beautiful and creative and open. We need them both to function in this reality. But the great thing about remote viewing is you have a target, so something that your left brain can focus on, but then the right brain, you've got to let that right brain go, what's possible, and kind of expand what you think is possible. So I'm going to start off with a lovely exercise that's going to expand what you think is possible about where you can go and what you can see, feel, and intuit. So since you're in a nice relaxed state, what I'll get you guys to do is I'll get you to, first off, again, bring your awareness to your body. So be very aware of the surface area of your body and your skin. And then what I want you to do is to start to expand what feels like you to be as big as the room that you're sitting in. And so feel the ceiling, the floor, and the walls around you. Feel yourself as big as the room. Explore the corners of the room, under objects. We're taking your local consciousness that's located in your body and we're expanding it. You do this every night when you sleep. You do expand your awareness from where your locality of your body, and sometimes you travel. And we're doing that now, but we're doing it in a semi-relaxed and awake state. So then I'd like you to expand your awareness to the size of your house or domicile. So if you live in a house, I'd like you to feel like you're as big as the house, feeling the roof, the surface of the roof, feeling the ground and the basement underneath you. If you're in an apartment, feel the whole, your whole apartment. And you can even expand yourself to the whole apartment building if you like. You can see all the different people in all the different apartments that you live in. So give yourself a couple seconds to do that. Really feel the edges of that building. And then while you're doing that, scoot yourself up so that you're standing on top of the roof of your building. And if you're outside, you can just go stand on top of a tree or somewhere, or just go really high above you and look down at you. So when you're on your roof or you're looking down on yourself, just explore the roof of your building. Looking around at it, look at the corners, look and see if there's anything that pops out at you that you've either, and we're trying to engage all your five senses. So visually, if you're seeing stuff, and if you're not seeing stuff, that's okay. Feel around or just know that you're going to know information about your roof. Or if you hear anything. And now we're going to expand your awareness so that you're as big as the city that you live in from above, looking down at it. And just observe and feel how that feels. And then you're going to expand yourself to be as big as the province, state, or area that you live in. So going a bit bigger. And then even going bigger to be as big as the country that you're in. You can observe it from above, or you can feel like you're as big as the country. Now I'm going to ask you to go a little bit further back. So it's like you're high up and you're looking at the country below you, or the continent, even if you like. You look at the whole continent. And then we're going to go further back off the planet so that you can see the whole planet itself from the side that you're looking at. And just see the outline of the planet, see the sky behind it, maybe feel where the moon is in regards to your location, where the sun is, feel the sun on your back if it's daytime. And so now we're going to gently bring you back, but we're not going to go back to you just yet. We're going to go to the west coast of North America. And I'd like you to tell yourself or ask yourself that you'd like to go look at the tallest redwood tree that's the closest to the ocean on the west coast of North America. So if you get things in your head saying you can't do that, just go do it. Just go right now and go see that redwood tree that is the biggest, that is the closest to the ocean. And just breathe. And once you get to that tree, you can touch it. You can almost make yourself super small and be at the bottom of the tree and look up at it. And engage your senses. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? Reach out and feel the tree. You can climb up the tree. Actually, one thing you could do is go right to the top of the tree and look down at the tree. And then you can look, when you're at the top of the tree, look up one side and down the other, looking down the coast. For those that want to try, go and look at the closest road to that tree. See how far away that is. Or the closest building. But we're going to use the tree as you're going to come back to the tree after you do that. And also, if you want to, you can go into the tree, look at the wildlife that's in the tree, the insects. And again, engage your senses, your hearing. And I'm going to give you a few minutes of quiet to really explore the whole tree, the area around the tree, the ocean. I'll be quiet for just a minute or two. And then feel free to explore the ocean that is right near the tree. And why don't you go into the ocean and look at the different animals that might be living along the coast, different shellfish, different wildlife. So explore that for a minute and I'll be quiet. Great. So hopefully you've had a chance to explore all you want to explore. So if you're spiritual and you want to thank that tree for the visit, go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to get you to expand yourself up again over the tree. And then you're going to find yourself moving back into your body, back into your amazing vehicle that you ride in this thing called life. And really, once you get back in there, take a couple nice deep breaths and really focus on getting grounded again, because this is a very expensive exercise. So also, if you like, focus on imagining a grounding cord from your tailbone, a beautiful tube of light from your tailbone down to the center of the earth. And feel that exchange of flow of energy from the earth up into your body. And keep breathing and wiggling your toes and your hands, and really ask that all of you comes back into your body, into this time. And we're going to start to bring our awareness back into our body. And when you're ready, you open your eyes. So does anybody want to share? Did anyone find that interesting? Did you find things that were surprising? Did you enjoy it? Does anyone want to comment?
I don't mind commenting.
Sure.
When I went into the redwood tree, I have been to the redwood tree, so I've seen them. So, so I kind of knew what they looked like. But when I went into the tree, I found an old nest of a bird of some kind,
Awesome.
which was very interesting.
Cool.
And there were some, insects around. But I just thought it was interesting that I found an empty nest, not a one that was living, somebody, an animal living in there.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very pleasant experience. And the smell, I could smell, it was kind of like a cedary smell, but it was definitely a smell, and it was amazing. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, because that's one of the reasons, like I just got that pre-workshop because I was asking for something that would really help people to expand and feel it, like something that's safe too, right? And something they know it's very comforting to be near those trees. If, like you said, you've been to them, it's extremely comforting to be near trees like that, I find at least. Okay, so I'm going to go in the comments here. So some people said, yeah, the smell was amazing. They saw beautiful colors in the ocean, very fun. It was more energetic for me. I felt it with my hands, but didn't see per se. And that's the thing, like some people are going to be very visual. Some people are going to be more tactile, feeling, smelling. I loved it. I felt as though I was there. Perfect. Great start to the session. I met a dolphin. Excellent. Those are fantastic. Dolphins are fantastic. I remember I had a teacher once, she said, dolphins are like, horses are like dolphins of the land, but dolphins are just, well, they're kind of out of this world, aren't they? And someone said, I feel that I should have practiced muscle testing kinesiology with someone in person. Still interesting. Well, actually, just on that note, Esther, if you want, I did I think it was last month, I did a free pendulum muscle testing workshop, kind of like this one. So it's on my YouTube channel. So if you just go Elizabeth McQuade YouTube, I think you'll find it. And it's a pendulum muscle testing class. So, and that's a great class to use, and you can use it in conjunction with this. Okay, and 2 more new messages here. Okay, I see ICU Academy. So that's good. Well, that's good. At the end of the call, maybe Layla, at the end of the call, loop that around again, because at the end of the call, I'm going to ask everybody if they have any good places where they, associations or things that they check out that practice the remote viewing. Okay. And I have a DVD set on muscle testing kinesiology. Oh, good. So somebody has a DVD set. Maybe you can borrow it from them or figure out how to share that. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit.
I wanted to comment real quickly.
Please. Yeah, please do.
Because I noticed something that I kind of wanted to ask about is that I live in Northern California, just about 20 minutes from the coast. And I found I was really distracted by the where, because then my mind wanted to come in and it wanted to go, oh, well, and that was very distracting, but it was much easier to focus on the tree itself. And I got a lot of sense of the surrounding area and the air itself and the smells and the things. But when I started to think of the location, my mind took over.
So yeah, okay, that's thank you for sharing that, because that's a good example of the left mind going, I gotta know, I gotta control this situation, I gotta, do you mean like the left side went, oh, well, I should know where that is. I should know where the biggest, tallest tree is beside the closest to the ocean. Whereas other people who don't live in California might have been like, well, I'm not going to know that. So they just kind of zoomed along. But I'm glad you got yourself out of that. So that's good. And what was I going to say about that too? Well, the interesting thing is, like, we just picked something to look at out of the blue. Like we didn't know, right? We just went and experienced it. So you can do this with anything. My only, there's people wanting to join. My only caution is, like, say you're curious about something, just know that out there, like nature, I find is a very safe place to look in for anything. But if you're looking at stuff that's maybe military based or stuff, just know that there might be systems in place that are security. So like, be smart about what you're looking at, if that makes sense, and why, and ask yourself, why am I looking at this? So today I thought this would be great to look at, because not only is it really it gives you a chance to look at something, but it's also beautiful and really, so if you're landlocked like myself and you really love the ocean, you really love trees, you can do this and really get that feeling of the ocean and the trees. Or if you're missing your home and you haven't been there in a while and can't go there because of all the restrictions, you can go and do this remote viewing technique and go, say hi, go look at your loved family. But also to know that it's sometimes good to have privacy. If you're looking at people, you got to be careful about privacy and stuff. Does that make sense? What else was I going to say about that? But yeah, so anything's possible. You can look at anything, and it doesn't even have to be on the planet. You can look at the moon. You can look at whatever. It doesn't matter. But just always go, what's my intent? And kind of set up a little bit of, prayer, intent, and protection is always a good idea. Great. So now what we're going to do is, does anyone else want to comment or have a question before I move to the first physical target?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I was too much in my mind, in my head. I saw the tree, I saw the ocean, I saw a road.
Oh, I can't. I think you I can't hear you at the moment. Say that again, Hans.
I saw it in a film or in a movie or in a picture.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't you didn't have the experience of it bodily, but you saw it like a picture, and that is also remote viewing too, because one of your senses might be like for you at the moment, you're like, well, I don't want to. Some part of you doesn't want to feel it, but you're happy to see it. So that's good. And then some people couldn't see it, but they could feel it. So it's going to just depend on the person and where you're at and what you're opening up. But I do believe that we can, if with practice, we can open up all our 5 senses to this. So say you have an intent, maybe the next thing that we're going to look at, and it's going to be a physical thing. You're like, oh, maybe I want to feel that. So Hans, maybe your intention for the next exercises, I'd actually like to physically put my hands on, feel this object that we're going to look at just coming up. And so say someone who's good at feeling but didn't see, say, oh, I would like to get some glimpses or flashes. And they might come like, and one thing I'm going to say before we look at the physical object that I'm going to show you, well, it's hidden, but I'll show you at the end. You don't assume. Like, don't kind of look at it and assume you know what it is. What I'd say is first approach it kind of like from an experimental point of view and go, I'm just going to see, what do I see, feel, hear, and touch? And then write down what it is. And you might even get words. Don't discount anything you get. And if it's very subtle, still write it down, put it down. So right now you're going to want to get a piece of pen and paper handy before we do this, but don't assume, don't go, oh yeah, that's a horse, because it might not be a horse. Do you know what I mean? And then you've locked in your left brain, if that makes sense. As soon as you go, oh, well, that's it. And then you say what it is. So I want you to kind of, whatever I'm going to show you, you're going to be looking at it hidden in an object. I'd like you to just kind of be really open. Like say if you're a blind person putting your hand into a bag and you're feeling it. Try that first with this object. Then I'd like you to be really small and then look in the bag, like get yourself in the bag. Or I just want you to be almost like someone who's, what's the word? Someone who can pass through walls, and you put your face in the bag and look in the bag. So I want you to try those kind of things because we're expanding what we think is possible. So try those 3 techniques, feeling it without seeing it, then just seeing it. And also you can just kind of ask to see no bag and just see the thing itself. You can ask for that too. So those are a couple techniques. So think about the one or 2 or all of them you want to try. And I'm going to turn the computer so you can see this next item. Oh, before we go, is there anyone else has a question or wants to comment before we try the next thing? Thank you, Hans, for that. That was really good. You reminded me to do that little thing. No one? Okay, so here we go. We're going to try the next thing, and I'm going to give you a couple minutes to look at it. See if I can do this without dropping the computer. So I have something in this on the little table in a bag. So feel free to, I'm going to mute myself. Feel free to take the next couple of minutes and try some of those techniques where you're just going to explore what's in that bag and you're not going to assume, you're just going to experience. And please write down anything you get. Okay, a couple more seconds and then we're going to reveal it. Okay, does anybody need more time? Okay, so I'm going to reveal this to you now. And what it is I'll just we'll put it right here. It's a little Buddha. Okay. Now I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to turn this around for a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it a little close to the camera. So it's a little wooden Buddha. It's very smooth. So if you're looking at it from the top, this is what it would look like from the front, from the back, and from the bottom. And it's wood and it's hand carved. And it's got a good weight to it, but it's smooth. Anybody want to comment on this or want to share what they received? And that kind of looks like that. Yeah, so if you want to just unmute yourself and share away.
This was weird. I like I said, it was hard, smooth. That was so weird. Hard, smooth, but it had sharp edges on it. Which
There are some.
Right?
These are a bit sharp here. Mm-hmm.
And it said, but I said you use it for something.
Oh, you said you use it for something.
But
okay.
It would be a meditation. Some people use it for meditation. I mean, I don't know why. But I didn't.
You said in the thing it said you use it for meditation.
No, I didn't get it. I just said what it was in there was something that somebody uses it for something.
Gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect.
And it had sharp edges on it.
Great. And it does have some sharp edges at the beginning. Yeah. And actually up here is a little bit, I guess you could say they're a little sharp. They're a little bit bumpy. Yeah.
Mainly smooth.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So out of everything in the planet, all those things that you said, a lot there, that's like a good accuracy, I'd say. Anybody else want to share? Thank you, Kat. I think that was Kat. Thank you, Kat.
I got round and bumps.
Well, that would be this is round and those are definitely bumps. So
yeah, that was
good.
fun.
That's you got that. You got 10 out of 10 on that one. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, my first thought it was an apple, but it was a thought.
Apple.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah, an apple. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, and two, I'm like, Oh, sorry, say again?
Yeah, you see that? You,
Oh, I can't.
you can see the drawing here.
Oh, where
No,
are you?
no,
I can't
no,
seem
it's
to
too
see.
small, I think.
Gallery view.
Here,
Oh, no, who's, oh,
here,
it's Hans. Okay, perfect. What's that? Show me your drawing.
Hans. Yeah, it's a bit small, but it was also round.
Okay, I can't quite see
It
it,
was
but
the
if
first guess.
good, you got round, good. So that definitely is
Can you
round.
see it?
Oh, yes, actually, that does look a little bit like the head. That's because there's a little poke
Oh,
thing on
no,
it.
no.
Very good,
Yeah,
Hans,
yeah,
very good.
maybe.
Well, out of all the shapes in the world, you
Mm.
got the one right. So give yourself a pat in the back for that one. Anyone else want to share? Anybody? Yeah, Elaine?
Yeah, so I wrote down that it was an inanimate object. I mean, because it's
Okay.
actually, but it was a model of something larger.
Very good, because
And I
yeah, the
got a
Buddha
yellow
would have been larger
orange-
than this, and it's a model. Yeah,
I got yellow or orange type color, so flesh or what, that would be.
yeah. This is a mix between yellow and orange for sure, for
And
sure.
I got various edges and irregular shapes, so it wasn't all just one solid shape. It was.
Very good. So you got a lot of words. Is that words, or did you write them? Like, did you draw it, or did you write the words?
I think I got them as words.
Good, yeah, because some people will do that. Some people just get words. Yeah, whatever way, you're not going to judge how you get the info. Anyone else want? No, thank you, Elaine. Anyone else? And thanks, Hans. Anyone else? Lawrence?
Over here, Larry.
Yeah, Lawrence.
I got a word, and the word was figurine.
Well, look at that. you nailed it. First word done. Good job, Lawrence. Yep, figurine. This is a figurine. Yep, no doubt. Excellent. Very good work. Did you get anything else, or that was it?
No, that was it.
Well, that's about it, though. That summed it up. Excellent. Anyone else want to share? No. And if you didn't get anything or it didn't quite match, don't be frustrated, because if this is the first time you've tried remote viewing, or the second, I am all the way in Northern Canada. So, but very good. So congratulations to anyone who got anything similar. Even say you wrote 10 things and only one of them was correct. Good job. Oh, someone's coming in. Okay, so now I'm going to put this guy away, and we're going to do another target in the same bag. All right. So if you want to kind of get into the zone again, take a couple nice deep breaths, let the last thing go. We're going to go again. I'm going to turn this computer, and I'm going to mute myself for just a couple minutes. And if you're on the phone, just so you know, I've put something in a bag near where I'm sitting, and I'm going to change that. And feel free to focus on the bag that's just to my right. And first impressions are everything. Write down right away, whatever you get. And if you don't get anything, approach the object like you did when we went to approach the tree. Go and come over to Canada and look at the bag. Come look in the bag. Okay, and a couple more seconds to write down any impressions. Okay, so I'm going to reveal what's in the bag here. And it's like a kind of like it's a diamond, but it's not real. And it's quite large. It's about the size of the palm of my hand. I'm going to move the computer over here. So this is it here. It's a, I don't know, I think it's called I forget the cut of it, but it's like a diamond. So does anybody, and it's quite cool to the touch. Like it's quite cool to the touch, very smooth. It's got a good weight to it.
I only got one thing. I put down 6, but the first thing I got was it was heavy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I see what you mean. I was going to count and see if it had 6 sides, but it's 8. But good. Could be 6 carats.
was
I don't
it.
know. Maybe it's 6 carats. I don't know how big this is. But that's great. So hard. It's definitely hard. It's super hard. Anybody else want to share? Thanks, Jane. Does anybody else want to share what they got? Oops. Does anybody else want to share what they got for this item? Yeah, yeah, go for it, Kat.
I did get clear, and then
Oh, well, this is, yeah.
Air and clear.
Well, there you go. It's very clear, and it's, yeah, it's the color of air, basically, isn't it? So for people on the phone, it's like I have this kind of huge plasticky, kind of glassy diamond. It looks like a diamond in a diamond ring, but by itself, and it's the size of my hand. So that's for the people on the phone.
At first, I wrote the very first thing I wrote down, which is interesting. Now I think about it, it wasn't necessarily wrong. I wrote down vacant because it's just see-through.
Yeah, it's vacant. Yeah, it is just see-through, and it's not real. It's not a real one either. So vacant. That's interesting. Yeah. So that's good. Anyone else want to share what they got? Do they want to get circular, pointed, bezeled?
I got a protrusion.
Well, this would be a protrusion. Yeah.
And I picked up the color blue and the number 5. So I think I might have been way off. I just got protrusion might have been the only thing.
Yeah. But the thing, I guess the thing is with these things, they can pick up in the bag. I don't know if it would be. Well, you know, if I'm holding, see how I'm holding it right now, and I'm wearing blue. So sometimes, and one thing, oh, I do want to address this. Thank you very much who just spoke. I'm sorry, I forgot, I couldn't see your name, but I wanted to address this because someone brought it up in a question beforehand. And I've had this come up a couple times in sessions. Time is an interesting thing when you're remote viewing. So you know how you say blue, it's like you could have seen it, you could have been looking at it and gotten something. So when I showed it to you and I was in front of my shirt, oh, that's blue. I had a bag that I used for another call, another remote viewing call. And previous to the call, my kids had put some chocolate wrappers in it from like Easter. And so when I went to go put the thing in, I was like, oh my gosh, I was glad I looked last minute because I took the wrappers out, but the smell of chocolate was still in it. And also, I'm pretty sure that bag had apples in it prior to that. And during the call, some people had picked up that there was like an apple smell. And I was like, oh, and then someone picked up a chocolate smell. And I was like, oh yeah, there was in that bag. And then we had yeah. And also too, I had a figurine last time and it had been broken at one point, and then I glued it back together. It was just like a little figurine my kids had. It was really flowy and kind of divine feminine-y. And someone said they saw pieces that was broken. And I said, it was actually broken at a past time. And so you can actually remote view stuff in the past. So what you could do is say that tree we looked at, you could remote view that, say 300 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And then what would it look like? You go to a location. You can go to a location. You can go to a location. Say you're interested in history. You go to the pyramids. That's 1,000 years ago, 3,000 years. Oh, sorry, we're gonna mute ourselves. You look at a location 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and you could do that as well and see what you get. So that's the thing. Time is kind of very fluid. So anyways, that's that one. So now for the last little exercise we're going to do for the day, it's going to be a bit of a different one.
I have a question, Elizabeth.
Oh, sure. Yeah, please do. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. What was in the bag before that you had the Buddha in?
Oh, I don't, I'm not exactly 100% sure. I think it was from one of my kids going to a birthday party or something. And so I don't really know. I wish I should have been more observant of that, because there was something in this bag before. Yeah, there was something in the bag for the Buddha, but I don't remember what it was. It could have been could have been something from a party. I don't know. But next time I should buy it from the store directly and do it straight away. But so if you got something, there could have been something in there and you might have seen it from the past. Who knows? Okay.
Yeah, because see, like I got a spoon. So have you ever had a spoon? I mean, how could I be so wrong?
Well, but there, you know what? There could have been a spoon in there. Like there very well could have been oh, you know what? There could have been a plastic spoon in there, because it could have been a takeaway from my husband's work, because they have fancy takeaway.
I got a plastic spoon.
So there could have been a plastic, to be honest, that very well could have been a plastic spoon. So you might not be wrong, because yeah, like, you know, you save stuff, you're like, oh, I'll save that bag, it's good bag. So anyways, so I have a feeling, Elaine, you might be on with that one, but then again, it was just a different time. You're just a bit off on the time, that's all.
Hey, so, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Hi, it's Monica.
Hi. Oh, hi, Monica.
Hi. So I'm here with my friend, and she got a pyramid. What did she get? A pyramid stone. Yeah.
That's a pyramid stone. Yeah, that's.
I straight away wrote down chocolate and thought, oh no, I'm well off there. And then you mentioned chocolate, you know, being in the, you know, in the future.
And you know what? They probably had a dessert from my husband's work in it with the spoon. So I got to get new bags when I do this, but it does make it interesting. It does make it interesting. So yeah, that's interesting, because when we got takeaway, the big bag, we had bigger bags for the food, but this might have been for the dessert. So thank you. Thank you for that, Monica. Thanks for your friend sharing that. That's interesting. So yeah, next time I do the call, I'll have to make sure I get a brand new bag from the store instead of using a used one. Great. And then someone said maybe you got impressions of the two items in different dimensions. Yeah, you can do that too. So that's why sometimes the intent, it's good to set up the intent. Like say you're going to go practice some remote viewing, do the intent. I want to see it. I want to see an object at this time, this place, this dimension, maybe to be more specific, because we are multi-dimensional beings. We're quite amazing, even though we're not taught that. And same thing with all this remote viewing or pendulum and muscle testing. We are amazing. We are very gifted. We're just not taught. Like little kids are probably, when the little babies are staring at you and they're looking all around you, they're probably seeing your aura, and they're very sensitive, very intuitive. Sometimes they're talking to grandparents who've passed, but because we don't get encouraged to use that on a day-to-day basis, and almost discouraged, to be honest, to use those abilities, they can kind of atrophy. So part of what you're doing today is practicing that and getting it going even more. So good on you guys. So for the last one, this one's going to be a bit, so Dr. Russell Targ, what he did in New Zealand was he gave everybody a bag, and it was probably new, and he had them go outside and everybody put something in the bag, whether it was their thing or something from outside. And then they sat with someone and then they did this exercise like person to person. So you had you paired up and the person would hold the bag and you'd have to draw and sense what was in it. So that was one of the exercises he did. And then one of the exercises he also did was, because I did two in the bag, but he covered something up with a cloth and then we looked at what was under there. And the third exercise we're going to do today that he did, he focused just himself on an image that I'm going to do right now. And you're going to get the information from me. So there's 3 ways he mentioned that you can get information for remote viewing. You can get it from the object itself, from the field, or from a person who's seeing it. So sometimes in the military, what they would do is there'd be a person who would be at a location and you would focus on that person, and that person would be looking at the location, you get the information from them. So that's what we're going to do for this one. So I've chosen an image, and I'm going to look at this image, and you're going to look at me, and you're going to see what you can get from me. So see what I'm transmitting to you. So first, let me get this picture up without sharing it beforehand. So there we go. Okay, so I've got the image in front of me. So I'm going to give us about, 3 or 4 minutes. And I'm just going to focus on this image and send this information out to you, which is telepathic. and if you've ever known that someone's going to call before they phone you, and then the phone rings and it's them, then you've had a telepathic experience. So I'm going to stop talking for a couple minutes. I'll just make sure I'm not on mute. And yeah, we're going to, first impressions are everything. Okay, so we'll wrap it up in this in about 10 seconds. I'll just kind of continue for another minute or two here, for another couple seconds. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share the screen here. So if everybody's ready, I'm going to reveal this, and then can you see? That's the image. It's a fountain. It's a fountain that looks like a dandelion. And it's got, I'm just describing it for the people on the phone, it's got 6 kind of like pebbles underneath the fountain, and it's a 6, around the base of the fountain, it's a 6-sided hexagonal fountain, lots of water coming out. It looks like a dandelion with water, like a gray dandelion with water coming out of it, flowing down. And then there's water flowing out little ridges in the bottom of the fountain. So does anybody want to comment on this? Oh, here, I better unmute.
So I got the sky, trees, wood path.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know what that would be.
Well,
Outside.
there's a path behind the fountain, it looks like, and there's probably a path like where the person's taking the picture. There's probably a
Oh.
bench. There's probably a bench beside them, I'm feeling.
Okay, outside, water, floating, and a puddle.
Well, that's, you nailed
Yeah.
it. Yay.
Yeah.
Anybody else get the kind of similar stuff to what they're seeing? Cat did?
I got alive, active, and lots of movement.
Well, yeah, that's tick, tick, tick. Very good. Anybody else? I'm trying to see if I can see the.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Hans. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you, Hans. Oh. You might be muted. Hey, Hans, if you go down to your screen on the bottom left-hand side, unmute yourself. I don't know how to unmute you and not screen share. Oh, sorry. Anyways, anyone else who, because I'm sorry, I can't hear Hans. Anyone else who wants to share? Actually, I'll screen share just a couple more minutes here for a second. Anybody else want to comment? Okay, cool. So if you got anything like water, trees, air, because
I got trees, yeah, but I got more of a scenery with hills, but I got the green trees in it. So
very good, very good. So you're picking up on that. Excellent.
I saw something on a pole, but nothing focused.
Well, that's a pole right there in the middle. So good on you, Lawrence. Very good. Yeah, very good. So if you've got anything, and so how'd that work? I'm sitting looking at a picture you can't see, and I'm sending out. You're tuning into me, looking at what I'm looking. So that's telepathy. That's what that is. That's me sending, you receiving. So, and that's very common. It's a more common thing than you'd think. So great, very good on everyone who got that. So does anybody have any questions? Before questions, if anybody, so I'm just going to go comments quickly. So some people said, okay, 1 second. I'll just look at the comments. So someone asked, what do you mean when you say one of the ways to get info was from the field? Let's see where to go. So the field, we're bathed in the field. It's like, you know how a fish is in the ocean and it doesn't know it's in the ocean? We're in the field. We're in the field. We're bathed in information and frequency and collective consciousness of humanity. So that's what I mean by the field, like everything. It's like a fish is in the ocean. We are in a field of energy. We don't maybe know it because we're in it all the time, but that's what I mean by the field. I can't, 1 second here. Perfect. Okay. Lost sound. Oh, that's okay, Hans, but I hope it was good for you. I hope you got a validation. And someone said that was cool. Thank you. And then someone said, I immediately saw something large and white and then the name Stanley. Oh, so maybe the guy who took the picture's name was Stanley. I don't know who took the picture, but the large and white thing, that dandelion fountain looked pretty large and white to me. So good on you, Heather, for that. Someone says they're from Belgium. Okay, I think I went to the top on that. Let me go down here. Yeah, question?
Where was the fountain?
I don't know. I wish I could find that out. I don't know where it was. I tried to find that out, but I didn't. So, but it looks like hard to say, maybe North America, but who knows? And then someone said, 1 second here. I'm just going to scooch down with the.
Een fontein.
Oh, sorry, say again? Oh, okay, I heard somebody talking. I'm just going down through the comments here. 1 second, and then I'm going to just cover a couple. Oh, sorry, say again? I think did somebody have a question?
It was Tom, but I think they've muted now.
Oh, okay, no worries. Okay. So I'm just looking at here. Camper on the beach. They got the water part. Someone said they can't see it. So it was a fountain that looked like a dandelion. Okay, I got sun right off the bat. Yeah, it was sunny. I saw water and a ridge and a large white dahlia flower. So world bringer, very good, because you saw the water and then the ridge was like the ridge of the fountain. There was a little bit of water flowing over it and a large white dahlia flower. So it looked like a flower. The fountain looked like a flower and it was whitish looking. So good on you, world bringer. Michael Wayne from Florida saw a stream. Very good, because there was like those little streams. You could see them all coming down the fountain. We are 3 here and saw a fruit bowl, flowers, and nebula. Well, it's interesting because the fountain did look like a flower, and it, you know, the fountain base was like a bowl, and then the nebula kind of seems like, you know, very nebulous, all that water. So very good. Someone else got a dahlia as well. Interesting. So those are dahlias. Lake tree, horse, and saw the pole. Very good, Manuel. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, someone had to sign off. Lost sound. That was cool. I immediately saw something large and oh yeah, that's Stanley. I'd be interested to know if Stanley took the picture. I got everything wrong. How do I practice? Oh, that's a great question, Donna. So there's a couple things you can do to practice. If you go on Facebook, there's like you go remote viewing practice groups, you'll find something. If you go on Instagram, there's a lovely lady, I forget her name, I think her name is Verona, but she'll hold a piece of paper up with a picture in it, and she does that almost daily. And I think that's remote viewing community on Instagram. She's lovely. And there's a fella, he's even written some books. I think you could go remote viewing. I advertise this on his Facebook site, remote viewing community, I want to say, on Facebook. And I forget the gentleman's name, but I have his book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And then then at the beginning of the call, before we recorded, one of the participants was mentioning the Hawaii Remote Viewing Guild, the HRVG. And then he also mentioned another community called IRVA. So maybe the International Remote Viewing Association, I'm guessing. So if these are things, you can go research that, see if you're interested, but there's a lot of free sites. And also, if you just go on the internet and type in remote viewing targets, you can find tons of people who have websites, and they'll give you a number. They'll be like, 65743, and you just focus on that number, and then you write down what you get, and then you click on the link and it'll show you the picture associated with that. And I've done that a lot and I enjoy that. And that's a really good practice. Then also you can just find someone in the house, ask them to put something in a bag for you that you don't see them doing it, and put it down. And so you try to get the information either from them, because they know what it is, right? Remotely, or from the object itself, or from the field. And again, it's just practice. It's like, if you want to learn the piano and you haven't learned the piano, if you have 2 hands, you can learn how to play the piano. And then someone here said, my words are more accurate than my images. This is so interesting. This is the fountain from the picture. So the fountain, thank you, whoever researched Oz. The fountain in the picture, it's from the El Alamein Memorial Fountain in Alamein, Egypt. It's in Egypt. So interesting. Good. Beautiful. Elaine saw stained glass figures with bright light behind the head. Thought it was the Virgin Mary in France. You're picking up on a guide or something there. I did, just so you know, before the session, I do a little prayer, and I did ask for Mary and a few others to come in. So Elaine, you might have seen some of the helpers I asked for. So very good, Elaine. John got the Statue of Liberty. Well, it was a statue. It was very statuesque, that fountain. And then someone said Loring Park, downtown Minneapolis, USA. So maybe that's where they're from, or that's where the fountain is. This gives me hope I can do it, because others are really close if they didn't get it right. Yes, Richie, like, you can do it. It's just practice, and it's just about belief too. I really encourage you guys to go on YouTube and look at this couple. I'm going to quickly go on right now and find the link. Because I think you need to know it's possible. I think if you're struggling with it and you want to know it's possible, I really like this couple for what they're doing. So just give me a moment to see if I can find that history. My computer's slow because I'm running the, oh, so if you go onto YouTube and you go to the channel Seeing Blindfolded Practice - Rob Freeman, he's got some videos of him and his wife. They're adults and they're practicing doing remote viewing with blindfolds. You could do that too. And that's the great thing. If someone else can do it, you can do it too. How could this be useful? You can find the truth of things. If you have a cottage somewhere and you want to see if your cottage is in good nick and you don't want to go drive 3 hours to look at your cottage, you can go remote view it. Someone says something happened at a location and you're not sure if that really happened, you can go remote view it, past, present, future. So it's, that's one of the reasons why this isn't usually taught widely, because, there's certain people that don't want you to really know the truth. So this is, if you really want to know the truth, you can go look up the truth yourself. So that's one of the reasons. And also the military started using it because they wanted to spy, basically, is the reason. And because they knew other countries were doing it. So that's why they wanted to do it. That's the gist of what I get from, what I got from Dr. Russell Targ, is that they were looking for strategic one-upmanship with the remote viewing, if that makes sense. Once I got an idea in my head of what all the pictures are, I stopped getting images. Once I got an idea in my head of what all the pictures are, I stopped getting images. Sometimes, Barb, you just have to let it go, and then the US military has tracked down terrorists doing this. Yep. I'm sure they've done lots of things with this. Yeah. Daz Smith's RV Target Monkey and Lynn Buchanan RV website have coordinates for practice in free courses. So there's another, if anybody knows of any resources, just pop them in the link, or if you want to unmute yourself. Oh, there's someone in the waiting room. If you want to, feel free to share it. So Daz, D-A-Z, Smith's RV Target Monkey, and Lynn, L-Y-N, Buchanan, B-U-C-H-A-N-A-N remote viewing websites. So if you Google them, they will have some nice targets for you to, according to Julie, they got some good targets. We've got lots of Egypt, interesting. I also got the name Cleopatra's Needle, a large white monument here in London. Oh, interesting, Heather. So you must have been picking up on the fact that it was in Egypt. So something in your understanding of consciousness was trying to tell you it was in Egypt. That's that fountain. Can you put the YouTube link in the chat? I have to make the YouTube link for this recording. So what I'm going to do, so this recording, I have to download it from the cloud and put up on YouTube. But what I'll do is anybody who emailed me about this, I will email them out the YouTube link. And if for some reason I don't email you, feel free to email me and I'll email you the link. It might take me a couple days to get it up, but I will. How do you use this for healing? So when, say I'm doing a session on someone, I will, if they've got something going on in their body, I'll look at it, or I'll just look at their whole body. I'll be like, what's going on in your stomach? Because I'll feel it and see it at the same time. If there's something going on in a person, they don't have to be in front of me. And even if they're in front of me, I'm still looking inside them. So I'm just using what that we're doing remote viewing wise, but on a person to see how they're functioning physically. But I also look energetically and different dimensions and anything that's kind of affecting them energetically. And we kind of clean that up. There's a lot of clearing and also upgrading. You can ask for upgrades on things. So that's how people, myself and probably other people do, is you're kind of looking with that third eye at a person's body internally. And that can be done. Anybody can do that as well. So anything that, anything you can do, anything someone on this planet can do, you can do as well if you want to learn, if you want to take the time and energy. I can't wait to expand on this. I feel so ready. Oh, lovely, Melissa. Julie Tasker, focus on what you've got compared to other sites you might have viewed rather than overly judge. In everyday life, we don't all remember the same, often very different memories, same place. I couldn't see the last bit. So good, yeah, good point. Don't compare. I know it's hard not to compare yourself to others if someone got the right target and you didn't. But you're trying and you will eventually get it. It's like learning to ride a bike. You do it enough times, you will learn how to ride that bike. Oh, so there we go. Seeing blindfolded practice, Rob Freeman YouTube. So someone put the link in the chat. Thank you. And Monica put another link in the chat. I saw 3 pyramids and a camel caravan that match Egypt, but not the image. So there you go. So obviously part of yourself was got you the information that they knew you'd take, Zavaz. They knew that you'd get the Egypt bit, but they knew you might not get the other bit yet. So that's pretty amazing that out of everything on the planet, you got some Egypt stuff and the fountains in Egypt. So that's pretty cool. So then someone put up some more links of Target Monkey. Good. Could remote viewing be used to reconstruct a place's architecture? I don't know if you could. Well, the thing is, then when you're wanting to reconstruct stuff, are you thinking like moving it with your mind, or you're looking at the reconstruction? Because you could look at a building, like say I look at a person's body, you could look at the framework of a building and go, oh, that beam is a bit off, or there's a crack in that. You could do that kind of thing. You could remote view a building, like you could remote view a person's body. Could you remote view? Yeah, you could look at like reconstruction, like say if you wanted to go remote view, say Rome, and you want to go look down like 3 levels below Rome, you might see some different structures down there, or different, old relics and things like that, or skeletons. You could do that. You can remote view anything. Yeah, underground, above ground. And then someone said maybe different languages, writing systems. Yeah, you could try that. You'd have to kind of figure out how because you could even try, like you just try translate it. You could say, look, I want that. What does that word mean? So say you're looking at an ancient Roman or ancient Sanskrit term. You don't know what it is. You could just say, what is that term? Then you see what you can get from that term, like in English or whatever your native language is. And then you can go look it up after for proof. And that's maybe not so much remote viewing as asking for information. That's kind of remote viewing, but with you're asking for more information. And you can do that when you're remote viewing. You say, I want more information on this object, please. More information. So say you're going to look at something. Then you say, I want more information on that, say the pyramids. You look at the main pyramid, say, I want more information on that. How was it made? I want to be shown before it was made, before it was a pyramid. Show me who was there. Show me how it was made. Show me the process of it being made. You could do that, but you got to get yourself in the right headspace and, do some protection. And also, don't be surprised when you remote view stuff in the past. Like I was just kind of doing that. I was just saying it. You might get things looking at you when you're looking at them, especially if they're a bit more multidimensional. You might get things looking at you while you're looking at them, and that's natural as well. But just be prepared, if that makes sense. If you're going to look at the pyramids getting made, you might have things looking back at you, because I just did it when we were talking and I saw things looking at me. Very nice, but just, just be aware. Maybe different languages, writing systems. Okay. Thank you for giving us such positive feedback. Oh, no problem, Barb. Lynn Buchanan's practice coordinates, excellent. There's some links in there. Are we supposed to ask permission to view a person? Yes. So don't go looking at people or people, their homes, their bodies. I never do healing on anybody or a session on somebody who didn't ask me. If someone's not feeling well, it's not for me to heal them or look at them. They have to ask for permission. I can offer, I can say, oh, hey, you're not feeling good. If you want the session, let me know. But you don't go intruding, because there's a law. What is it like? You won't want someone coming into your house and looking at your dirty kitchen. You don't go do that to someone else, because there's repercussions, right? Like every action has a reaction. So think about, the golden rule. Would I want someone to do this to me? and basically, yeah. And that's the same thing with, you're looking at places that are owned by military. Be cautious, or just don't do it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense on that question. Archaeologists are starting to access remote viewing to support their explorations, especially in sea when only have limited access due to sea tides. Excellent, yeah. Germanic dialects and Indo-European folk religion. That could be something if you're going to look at, remote view languages, because you could ask when you're remote viewing someone, say speaking, say, I want to hear it in English. You can try that, couldn't hurt. Every thought, because the thing is, when you're dealing with telepathic, you understand it. So say someone's German and they're speaking telepathically to you. You're not going to hear it in German. You might, but you'll understand it in your own native thing, if that makes sense. Every thought is an energetic link to someone, sending loving thoughts whatever. It's true. Better to send loving thoughts than non. Do you teach RV on health matters? Well, I haven't, because when I do sessions on people, I explain to them what I'm doing, but that might be something I could do in a class, is to help people look and feel what's going on in another person's body. I'd have to think on that and see how I would go about doing that. But thanks, Heather. That might be something I should look at for another workshop. Indo-European folk religion, as in gods and goddesses. Yeah, you could look at anything like that. And then Julie Tasker, highest good and greatest benefit considered ethics. However, philanthropic you feel, amazing repercussions. Yeah, so like, for instance, there's mass meditations going on right now with Prepare for Change in regards to situations in the Middle East. You can do mass meditations where you're sending pink light. Well, first off, you put a violet flame around you, and then you're sending pink light to that situation in the Israel and the Gaza Strip. So if you've got, like, say 30, 40, 50,000 people doing that all at the same time every 4 hours a day, you're going to see a change. There's been studies that show mass meditation, mass intention. Remember I said at the beginning, it's all about intention. So mass intentions for something to improve. You get a lot of people doing that intention on a specific spot, a place, or situation. You will see improvement. You will. It's just, and they've documented it. I forget when, but they've documented these monks that meditated on peace for New York City or peace on the planet, and crime rates dropped in some places by just like 70%. So we are much more powerful than we've been led to believe. And our group intention is very powerful. Yes, Elaine.
Somebody was asking about using remote viewing for, like medical intuition.
Mm-hmm.
So before this class, I just watched an hour-long video on Shift Network.
Okay.
And there's a medical intuitive who's teaching a 7-week course.
Ooh,
starting
very good.
3rd.
Okay.
On Shift Network, and her name is Tina Zion.
Okay, so people, there you go. Tina is a Z-I-O-N.
Z-I-O-N. It's on
okay.
Shift Network, and the name of it is Tapping into Medical Intuition.
There you go.
Intuitive Powers. But
there you go.
Somebody was asking about that, and I'm
Yes.
interested in it too. So I think I'm actually going to sign up for that. It's $297, but it comes with a lot of bonuses, and it's 7 classes.
Yes, yeah. So there you go. And there's anything you can think of that you want to look at, there's probably a course out there, probably. So that's good. Prepare for Change. Oh, Prepare for Change brought me here. Oh, wait a second. I'm just going through that. Prepare for Change brought me a good truth reporting. Good job, Richie. Okay. Michelle, yes, that was in the 70s. Okay. Thank you, Elaine, for that information. Yeah, thanks, Elaine. That's awesome. And you could look at different religious rituals. Yeah, you could do that. Okay, I think I got through all the, let me see if I got through all the comments. Does anybody else have any questions? If you do, unmute yourself, because I can't seem to see everybody on the call. But if you have a question or a comment before we wrap up, feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Elizabeth, this is Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hi. Can I tell a quick story about the pendulum that I've been using all week?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, it was wonderful, and it's become my best friend.
Oh, good.
I've had an undercurrent of being dizzy for a while, and I used the pendulum to go through my systems to see which one it might be. And I came to my circulatory system, and I said, what's in the circulatory system? It said blood. So I said, does it have something to do with blood? My pendulum said yes. And I said, does it have something to do with the blood cells? And my pendulum said yes. And I said, well, what makes blood red? I said, iron. So I asked if it has anything to do with iron, and it said yes. So I went out and I bought some iron gummies.
Yes.
And my dizziness is gone.
Oh, look at you, Lawrence.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad. And There you go. There's some self-diagnosis. And then also too, what you can do going forward, because you don't want to take too much iron. You can go, should I take iron today? Get a yes, no. Should I not take iron? You know, and because eventually you'll get that nice threshold. You'll get in a good iron zone, but good on you. See, Lawrence? So that's that. So Lawrence participated in the pendulum class that I did last month. And there you go. You can, not that I don't, you know, my little medical, what's it called? I don't recommend, you know, not doing, you know, not following your doctor's orders. If you're taking medication, don't stop taking it, but you can check. And then in the case if you're taking some serious medication, go check with your doctor to get a blood test. But good on you, Lawrence. I'm, you know, good on you. So that's great. So yeah, that's one way you can
go watch the video of the pendulum. And
yeah. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I think it's just Elizabeth McQuade. I think I've got a couple of different YouTube channels, but look for it's on there, pendulum muscle testing. And it's a real good course. And like Lawrence was just showing, you can use it for a lot of useful things, for yeses and nos. It's all about yeses and nos and maybes, that one. Great. Anybody else want to comment before we start to, or does anybody have any other remote viewing resources that they use or that they like, or any other questions before we wrap up today? No? Okay, well, it was a real pleasure seeing everybody here, and I haven't really had a chance to, I was so busy kind of trying to monitor things, but I'll just go through and see everybody. But thank you so much, everyone, for attending. It was really lots of interest. I was really pleased to see that, and so happy to share whatever information I had here today about remote viewing. And I wish you guys an awesome rest of your remote viewing experiences, and get out there and practice and Google. And yeah, my pleasure, everyone. So thank you so much. And if no one else has any more questions, I will end the call. And I wish you all the very best in your journeys ahead. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And I'll